Ark Eternal is another overhaul mod that adds more than 600 new crazy dinos for you to tame and around 30 bosses to face with, ranging from very easy to almost impossible to kill. I will do my best to complete this mod within 100 days and gather the most powerful creatures out there to become the one and only to rule this Ark. Oh yeah, let's go. I don't know anything about Eternal, except maybe that they have some cool and strong bosses. It always starts the same, yet it is fascinating to discover new creatures. Even if they aren't really new, they are just variants of already existing creatures with different multipliers like it was in the Primal Fear mod. Oh hey, that's a fun structure they have here. And according to this buff's tooltip, nothing should aggro on me while I'm near. Ew, Oldcraft summoning paste, sign me in please. Oh yeah, and narcotics as well. Giving 1 narcotic per 1 spoiled meat and 1 narcoberry. Pretty intense. Meanwhile I'm getting almost killed by a bug and... Oh, and I actually got killed by a undead dodo. Bang. I'm trying to get eternal berries cause my spyglass says that I need them to tame herbivores. Like this parasaur for example, which got knocked out by a trunk bola. Yes, that's a part of this mod. Oh, that was quick. Also, do you see that insane level? That's because it is set on the page of this map to set your max wild dino level to something crazy like 600 I believe. My new friend is quite fast and it jumps really high and what? And for some reason it is also a speedy boat. Yo, check how fast it swims. What the heck? Oh, a corrupted Giga. Probably a bit dangerous. But I randomly get trunk arrows when something dies nearby me, so I use them to knock out the Giga. But it was in the ocean, which was slightly inconvenient. Oh, wait, what? Hello? What the heck? Okay, you know what? Everything is fine until a crazy spider eats you and your friend, so let's maybe grab a flyer. It is very basic and weak, but we'll have to do for now. Meanwhile I discovered this thingy called Corpse Recovery, which does exactly what you think, except it doesn't retrieve your tames items. Okay, now that I have a flyer, I think I will be a little bit safer. Also, it is imbued with poison, so whenever I bite something, it gets a little bit of torpor. Thanks for free stuff, dear crab. Ooh, handheld chain bola. That can be pretty cool. Ooh, are those some kind of ruins? Well, it looks like an entrance to the tech cave, hang on, yeah. I'm right. Cool. There is like an extinction part of the map which has massive quantities of metal rocks and that robots from Sanctuary spawn here as well. Well, they have a lot of crystal and obsidian there. Oh, and it looks like a cave. Ooh, it is really dark in here. Yes, this is definitely a cave. There wasn't anything interesting in there, so let's move on. I built this little stone platform to set up some forges, the smithy, storage and the eternal workbench, in which I crafted a crystal peak which harvests 4 times more resources than the metal one, and I nearly got smacked in the face by a rock golem. On my platform I also put an archematic fridge, which I forgot to power up with a generator. Then I also found a magmasaur and tamed it. I don't have the level for its saddle yet, but I saw that creatures in this mod also drop XP potions like in Primal Fear. To not get bored, I went on some map explorations, discovering some nice locations, like for example this hidden cave in which mantises, megalosaurs and deinonychuses spawn. I discovered this weird contraption called Eternal Pack Station, which should pull items from nearby dinos and put them into storage. The top of the volcano also hosts a whole bunch of materials, metal, crystal, red and blue gems and even element ore. Yeah, that's totally not an expensive blueprint. It is quite easy to knock out a Giga with those mudded arrows, so I did that just for fun. There were 2 Gigas in there actually, one with level 600 and the other one with 80, so first I killed that low level one when it was sleeping. And it got launched in the air. Typical Ark. So finally I proceeded to knock out the other one. I fed it some prime meat and it was mine. I wanted to maybe tame that Alpha Rex, but I spotted something a bit more interesting. A polar dragon. Well, doesn't really look like I can tame it right now. It totally reminds me of the Toothless from the How to Train Your Dragon movie. Okay, so my Giga does a little bit of damage, and I tried to kill a robot parasaur with it, but it was still too slow. However, nearby I saw an poison Indominus Rex, and I started knocking it out using every method that I had available. So let me take you on this fascinating journey. Oh. I mean, it wasn't really that bad. When I wanted to just grab some taming meat from my fridge, I got brutally attacked by a fire mana, and I couldn't really do much to escape, but gladly, nothing bad really happened. I also used a taming potion since my boy wasn't hungry at all. This made it tame immediately. Also, I finally had the level to craft the Magmasaur saddle, which is also crazy fast apparently. But I'm not complaining, it gathers a ton of metal. And on top of that, it can auto-smell the ore at high speed. I made this silly ladder to get to the top of rocks which support my base, and it takes ages to climb it. Suddenly my Magmasaur got attacked by an elemental fire baryonyx which came out of nowhere, and it was close to death. Meanwhile, the Fear Evolved event has started, hence you will be seeing those carrots all around the map. To make it easier to get new dinos, I installed the Creature Finder Deluxe mod, but as it turned out later it caused some issues, so I removed it after a couple of hours of playing. I was curious what robot creatures give when you harvest them, and I discovered that they give a shit ton of electronics as well as a small amount of crystal. Oh no, it's that type of mod again. I crafted a full Eternal ghillie suit which is unbreakable and has a lot of armor, as well as an Eternal glider to add a bunch of mobility to my character. Oh, actually quite a lot of mobility. The plan for day 11 was to tame preferably a poison wyvern, because I had a feeling that these may be strong and also useful for knocking out various creatures. And the best place to search for wyverns on the Volcano map was nearby a volcano. Oh, okay, we got our wyvern. Now I gotta figure out how to knock it out. My best bet was to quickly build a trap and to lure it inside. So I headed to the nearest beach and built said trap, which I first thought wouldn't work, but actually it was fine and I could start knocking out the wyvern. Okay, I won't show you that since it took ages with lowest tier trunks. And by the end of the whole process, a giraffe came out of nowhere and the wyvern started punching it and made it angry, and so they fought with each other until the wyvern went unconscious. I had to remove the giraffe from existence, and unfortunately the taming effectiveness dropped to 36%. Either way, the wyvern turned out to be quite powerful, mostly because of its lightning attack that had high damage per second, and I managed to kill the first resurrected creature, which I will kill a lot of later. I also killed a snake with strange name, which unlocked me an Eternal Resurrection Stone engram. When I got back to base, I placed this weird looking tiny forge, which slowly upgrades your dots from Alpha to Prime for free. And also, to progress, I will need this, the Eternal Boss Summoner, which, as the name suggests, allows you to spawn various boss creatures from Eternal. And also a Rockwell Manticore, the island bosses, and titans. Oh wow, that's super useless. At least there was a explorer note, I guess. So my magic forge is indeed converting alpha trunks to prime, although this process takes ages. So I think it is better to just craft those, since it gives you 10 at a time and they are not really that expensive. While exploring, I came across a cave which hosted some red gems and the big snake, mantises and even bloodstalkers, which I never used, to be honest. I will probably have to do Genesis 100 days to change that. An Eternal Token Jackbug spawned randomly, and well, I didn't tame it back then, which was kinda shame, cause it could be quite useful later in the game. It would save me killing those Indominus creatures for their tokens. I also met some other cool creatures like Robot Owl and Mystical Mammoth, which was a bit too strong for me at that time, and slowed down my wyvern by a ton, did some like damage through time effect. Overall not a pleasant experience. Hey, those wyverns look like I could tame one of them. Oh. Oh no, 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 please no. Hello? Can I take my wyvern back? Please? Come on! Drop yourself. Oh. Okay. Ooh, I would really like to tame the higher level one, but I gotta split them somehow. Oh. I guess it's alone. No, 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 no. Damn. Leave it alone. Hey, come on here. Oh, reap. Oh no, no, no. Eventually, after a couple of tries and deaths, I managed to trap the wyvern, this time without dying, and then I proceeded to knock it out. This time also with prime poison darts, so it took way less time than with the previous wyvern tame. Also, the taming effectiveness stayed high and I ended up with level 900 something prime diving wyvern. DPS wise it's not outstanding, but it deals large amount of torpor, which can be useful in taming more creatures. And you also gotta be careful not to kill yourself with its poison breath attack. Somewhere nearby my, let's call it base, I found an Eternal Feast Panda, which I tamed with some alpha meat and taming potion. And I read its tooltip and it said that this creature can be evolved into Eternal Feast Panda with a bit of prime blood, and so I did that, and what I got was an okay hugbear. It wasn't exceptionally useful because the movement speed was garbage, the damage wasn't great either, but it was enough to kill a weird dodo, which on its death spawned a wicked griffin. Said griffin was quite weak, so it died quickly, but shortly after another creature spawned on its place, the Midnight Shadow. I felt like this one could be powerful, so I started shooting it with my wyvern's poison breath. After a long chase it finally passed out, ready to be tamed with some eternal prime meat. Unfortunately I'm still vulnerable on this tame, but its damage is amazing. I stumbled upon another cave and after roaming there for a while I found an artifact of the brood. And then I discovered yet another new dino, a spectral aloe, which I was unable to trunk because it required an unknown dino torpor or tech rifle torpor. And fun fact, it's not like in Primal Fear, when you craft the summon of a boss, it immediately summons it. And such, I got half of my base wiped. Hang on, let me show you this satisfying moment. From inside the boss terminal you can craft some creatures that can be evolved into more powerful ones, such as this Evo Campi, which evolves into an armored dark star. But that's a lengthy process that also requires gathering some kibble, crafted from dodo eggs, which I started collecting using the soul terminal with automation on, similarly to how I've done it in Primal Fear 100 Days. I tried to kill the hard mode PT, but it was too strong for me at that point. Oh, no, thank you. I quite dislike this mechanic that some things can kill you like that. I was wondering if the Indominus Dodo Reaper is strong, and I tried to knock it out, but it burrowed underground, so guess I won't know. At least not for now. Oh, the game crashed. Finally the game crashed. Wow. Inside this ravine I found a robot Terry and I tamed it just for fun, which turned out to be a waste of insta-tame meat, really. I think that the good thing is it looks cool. Never mind, check this out, my Midnight Shadow was capable of killing a mystical rhino, which was the first of many mysticals killed in this playthrough. It gave me this cryogenic Cinnamacrops summon, which has not much use for me really, but I just wanted to show you guys it. I also thought that this multi-tool will be good, but actually it is an absolute trash. Don't craft that. Oh, and I stole a fire wyvern egg from the volcano, but it doesn't hatch. I wanted to tame a prime Terry, but first I needed to gather some materials for the taming meat. And while I was taking care of that, I spotted something really evil. An immensely powerful griffin, the Silver Knight. Oh, and apparently that Indominus Rex had eaten my Terry. So I tamed it instead. And I had an idea in my mind to evolve it into prime Indominus Rex using 25 prime blood, which proved to be far weaker than the Midnight Shadow. But the next ambitious plan was to tame that powerful griffin, which kinda evolved into a disaster. Oh, and in the meantime I also killed a mystical Bigfoot. Going back to that Silver Knight thing, I tamed that big snake because the tooltip said that it can knock out any creature. Then I approached the griffin and yep, as you can see it is pretty strong. So if I can't use a snake, I would probably need a tech rifle with trunk ammo. And to get that I need to tame a bionic Giga. There is a small chance that a tameable version will spawn when you kill the boss version. This time though I was greeted with a phantasmal spider, which I didn't even try to kill, I just walked away, quite literally, since it gave me a debuff which made my griffin unable to fly and very slow overall. So then I tried again, and unfortunately got the same result. Oh, no, thank you. I also got killed again by those stupid bugs. I tried to trap the Silver Knight in this primitive metal construct, no success though. So then I killed yet another bionic Giga, and this time got a robot spider to spawn. As well as a hard mode version bionic Giga which popped out of nowhere. No tameable version though, so I got another brilliant idea. There are those dinos called the unknown creatures which are an upgrade to prime ones, so if you take this prime wyvern for example and tame it.
Hello there.
You can then evolve it into one of the 3 unknown variants. Poison, lightning and fire. They shoot different beams. The poison shoots out a beam that does little damage and high torpor, lightning shoots out a beam with moderate damage and torpor, and fire has technically the most powerful beam without any torpor. I have no idea why I choose the fire one. Don't ever evolve your primes into fire unknowns. Poisons are much better since they can knock out anything and they apply a lot of torpor. And their damage is terrible either way, so I would say that just go for poison unknown wyvern and start taming endgame creatures from there. What you just saw there for a brief moment was a wicked Ultima dragon which apparently spawned nearby the Silver Knight. Actually, a pair of these spawned. I was considering taming one of them, but first another dragon came by, the Molten Dragon, and I was surprised with its very high level and just had to tame it to see if it's capable of doing something cool. And of course I got trolled by the mod once again, and the dragon ended up being an absolute garbage and waste of time. It is huge, slow, does no damage and can't really turn in the air. Meanwhile, I had disabled the Dino Finder mod as well as re-enabled hibernation again, because as I said, it was causing some performance issues, so now the game should run a lot more smoothly. It took me a lot of time with the Midnight Shadow, but eventually I killed the hard mode Bionic Giga, just because I wanted to know if it drops something useful, but apparently not. And I came across a flying red jellyfish. How wholesome. Don't mind all the debug stuff on the screen, I was just testing something. On an island called, well, the Ship Island, I spotted a strange ship which looked like it recently escaped the Nether. And it was indeed a pretty bizarre creature. Well, it can breathe fire, charge like a rhino, and spawn some explosive minions. So yeah, it's pretty crazy, I like that one. Though damage per second is still pretty low. But if you've ever needed a very fast way to travel oceans, there you have it. I have no idea what's happening there. What? But don't get overconfident. Moving on to something productive, I set up some storage boxes to put my stuff in there. The rest of the day was pretty boring, I just searched for some unique dinos to tame. No luck though. On day 28 I created a little greenhouse to grow black pearls inside, because you can't do it in Eternal. Just craft a black pearl seed and plant it, simple as that. Of course, it takes some time to grow those, so to speed things up I searched for some Eurypterids, but instead I came across an underwater cave with mosas, sharks, ammonites and other creatures, so I managed to grab some black pearls from there. And also I saw a level 600 prime wyvern, so I tamed that one to evolve it into an unknown poison wyvern. Since then I was able to tame pretty much anything I wanted, with its beam dealing very large amounts of torpor. For example, that wicked Ultima dragon I was talking about a while ago. It got knocked out within a few seconds, I gave it a piece of prime meat and it joined me. It proved to be a bit stronger than Midnight Shadow, especially after I discovered the keybind for some kind of breath attack. And obviously now the tameable version of Bionic Giga spawned. And I didn't notice that alongside with it a phantasmal spider also appeared, so rip my Midnight Shadow. I grabbed the Bionic Giga either way. The only good aspect of it is speed really, because well, just look at that. Yeah, I think I will use that dragon for a while. So now it was time to see how it performs against a variety of bosses. Oh, that was a lot of keys and mouse spamming, so let's see if it was worth it. From all these bosses I managed to gather quite a bunch of useful armor pieces, like the Eternal Tech armor pieces which are unbreakable, they don't use up element and they have like thousands of armor rating. And the Eternal armor, this one, these pieces are also interesting, they are unbreakable too, they provide a lot of armor and they give you various buffs. Like unlimited oxygen and stamina, increased movement speed and weight, and probably some more stuff which I forgot about. Well, okay, let's get into some more fighting. That's a cool mechanic. The Titan God can spawn like evil clones of your dinos which attack you, although I decided not to fight this one because my damage is still not enough. Oh, and I found this guy, the XB Owl. Trust me, it is somewhere over there. And well, this guy has some cloaking abilities and for some reason a crazy amount of torpor. Yeah, they said like Rexes were the kings of dinosaurs. This owl is fast for sure. Yeah, as I said, it can go invisible, unlike the Indominus Rex. Oh, and it has thermal vision. That's probably everything there is to it. Not the most amazing creature ever. Just to tackle that alpha, I spawned an undead wyvern and one-shot at it with my Ultima Dragon. And while flying by the wyvern range, I just couldn't help myself. Oh boy. So there are those ancient creatures in Eternal which you can summon via the boss summoner. Just for some fun I spawned one, the ancient manticore to be exact, and I had to be really careful not to kill it straight away, and I actually managed to tame it. And you know what? Oh, that manticore will get one-shotted. I tried to beat the Terra Nova, which is another boss in Eternal, and it took me a solid while to bring it to low HP, and this happened.
Hey yo, what the fuck?
Yep, it just disappeared, like that. Meanwhile, I swapped my regular generator with the tech one. And I read about a very powerful griffin in this mod, which you can get by killing this golden boy, the Bacon Overlord. On death, it can randomly spawn you a Bacon Overlord griffin, which you can then trank out using an unknown poison dino. Then you have to feed it with an insta-tame meat and there you go, you have an absolute beast of a creature. It's fast, can carry most of Ark's creatures, according to the tooltip at least, and most importantly it has some fat deeps, like I just shredded through an Halmov Mystical PT. So I think this guy will stay with me for quite a while. Hey man, what you doing in this lava pool? Look at the damage. Come on, and you're dead. Easy. From all that mess I got some god shrines, which are said to give infinite resources, so that's pretty cool. Oh, an instantly meat engram. Nice. Apparently a Bacon's metal monkey spawned. I thought that maybe it is also strong like the griffin, but the reality proved to be quite disappointing. And to tackle another boss off, I rather quickly deleted the armored Darkstar. Apparently in order to get those shrines working, you have to put gas in them. But that's kinda boring, let's hunt some bosses again. First to tackle off, the hard mode Darkstar. Then the regular Phantasmal Manticore. As well as Brute Mummy. And a hard mode Phantasmal Gorilla. And even the Titan God didn't stand a chance. While on this killing spree, a tameable version of the Titan God spawned, and I took that opportunity to tame it. I couldn't ride it though because it needed a Titanosaur saddle, which I haven't crafted yet. But actually I got something more interesting to show you, which is this here, the Ascender. You can craft here Ascenders from various boss fights and then use them to ascend your character, which of course increases your max level, and also remember that you have to use those items in order, so the Gamma, Beta and Alpha Overseer first, then similarly the Manticore, Rockwell and so on. And you don't have to worry about your items, as you see here it's just the implant being swapped. Feeling all that power from multiple ascensions, I took on the god tier Bionic Magnosaur, which dealt a bit of recoil damage actually to my Bacon Overlord Griffin, but still wasn't really a struggle for this insane beast. And apparently I unlocked something called Empowerment Artifact, which is a thing you can craft in Empowerment Station, which I couldn't craft yet because I was short on some materials, and I was about to collect them when something unexpected happened. Oh, hello there. What is that? Oh. Bacon's Armageddon. Well, that's new. Yeah, so this guy had 15 billions of health. Like, I'm not kidding, he actually had that much of HP. But I was more interested in its tooltip, displaying that you can use various keybinds to do some funky attacks. And I was like, hey, you can actually tame it? Either way, first thing I did was taming a Bacon Overlord Griffin that randomly spawned nearby. Then I took my whole army against that thing, which ended up in nothing. It just disappeared. Like that. I mean, I wouldn't probably kill it, but don't worry, we will come back to that thing later. Let's focus on another funny story. I present to you Bacon Overlord's daddy. And actually it's dead now. And another bacon Armageddon spawned. So the next 2 days was just me fighting some more bosses, which is not that interesting at this point. Slightly more interesting thing that happened was I met a bacon Bigfoot and tamed it to see its abilities, and they were pretty meh actually. And the damage also wasn't astonishing. Some time ago I had an Volcano which took me a while to get, but it got killed by something completely random, so now I have an Pago which evolves into a feathered Darkstar. Also I tamed an Eternal Prime Blood, the Jug Bug, which constantly produces Prime Blood which I use to summon bosses. Like for example the Resurrected God, one of the God tier bosses in Eternal, which drops a resurrected arrow that can be used to tame resurrected creatures. I read some things about dinos in this mob, and the Bacon Overlord Griffin is supposed to be very powerful, like top tier damage and stuff, but as you can see here, it's not really the case, and I can barely scratch this boss. Oh, by the way, if you're wondering if Indominus Dodo Reaper is good, then I've got you an answer. It's not.
Hey, that's pretty bullshit!
Just to have some more fun, I went back to the wyvern trench to obliterate every creature here, when a thing spawned that I have never seen before. An Eternal Indominus Dragon, which, well, got one-shotted by my griffin. Oh, what? How did that happen? Oh, hello there again. Oh, that hurts. Okay, it should be sleepy now. So yeah, I grabbed another piece of instant meat and here we go. The army grows, kinda. Whoa, that's pretty crazy. I'm not sure if I have already said that, but on the top of that volcano in the very center of the map you can find a lot of good resources, which you can for example use to get yourself a cloning chamber to clone your griffins, which is actually very cheap. I think it was like 15 element per one clone, and basically any boss gives you lots of element in this mod, and also the whole cloning process takes around a minute, or maybe even less than that. Yep. As I said, even that amount of damage is not enough to kill the resurrected god within a reasonable time span, so I had to increase the damage of my tames from 0.14 to 1. After reloading my save game, the golem stayed as it was, which was pretty cool. I was sure it will despawn like any other bosses do in this mod. It also surprised me with spawning Bacon Overlord's daddy straight away, which I had to deal with. But eventually, when I was able to focus on the Rocky Boy, I melted through its HP a lot quicker, although it still took a solid while. Oh, and did I mention that I had 3 more Bacon Griffins with me? Yeah. Sadly, the clone and one of my tamed ones died. But after all that hard work, I scored the first of many, I hope, resurrected golem kill, which spawned another Bacon Overlord's daddy. But what's more important, I can now tame my own resurrected creature just by shooting it with an arrow I just received. By taming different resurrecteds, you can summon your own resurrected golem. For that, you will need all its parts, which can be crafted inside resurrected's inventories. For example, you can craft the resurrected core inside Dodorex's inventory. While I was on my way back to base, I spotted another interesting creature, the Bacon Nemesis, which was just a big red Indominus Rex. It died pretty quickly, but before that it managed to spawn a whole bunch of velociraptors. Yeah, they were disgustingly annoying, let's not talk about that. Another fun thing I read on the internet was that you can evolve Bacon Overlord, this golem here, into the daddy's version. So I think I will check that out and see if it's any good. Hello? What you doing up there? Oh, actually it is dangerously close to my base. Oh, damn it. I might have to get another one. I might build something here, though I don't really enjoy it because that building system makes me crazy sometimes. Let's say that I have a general idea, but I'm not gonna show it just yet. For now, I can really tell you that I will need a shit ton of metal for my project. Also, growing black pearls in tech crop plots is amazing. Oh, that's a massive FPS drop. What is going on here? What the heck is that? For some unknown reason, a bunch of very strong creatures spawned here, and so I tried to clean up this whole mess, and I died in this whole process, so I'll be right back. that massacre caused another bacon Armageddon to spawn, and because I significantly buffed my Tame's damage, I tried to bring it down again, which took a lot of time and eventually got me nothing. So back to building, I guess, or cloning griffins in order to farm resurrected golems faster. I will need to kill a bunch of them, as I said, so it would be quite nice to speed up this process. And just like that, we have another resurrected dino, the resurrected griffin, which unfortunately can craft the same thing as the Dodorex. Oh, actually, never mind, the Dodorex is dead either way. If you are paying attention to what's happening on the screen, you may have noticed that I skipped days 61 and 62, because they were just full of building similarly to day 64. So instead of showing you that, I can show you a sped up fight with another resurrected god. And if you're wondering, this clip is 30 times the speed of original footage. Oh, okay. Let's grab another resurrected. This time I may go for... yeah, okay. Spino is fine too, I guess. I mean, I have no idea what exact resurrected I need to be able to craft every part. The Spino was a good choice though, it gave me the access to the legs part. Okay, let's just throw some random clips in the background, I don't care. The important thing is, I have yet another god tier boss to show you. The Dark Hierophant, which I will be fighting in a moment. This boss is pretty much a copy of Nova from Primal Fear, so it's a Dodo Reaper which can spawn some minions and, you know, throw some explosions at you, but the hardest part really about this fight is not letting it despawn. That's because it has an attack with an insane knockback, and if you get too far away from it, then, well, it despawns. Does it drop anything useful though? Not really actually. It's just a cool looking boss and that's it. Uh-oh. No, really? It's kinda shame that you technically have that shield icon on your HUD, so deaths like that should not happen, but they do happen. I don't know if that's intended or not. Okay, it disappeared. Well, that happens. Here we have a brief look of the contraption I was trying to build. I will show you the whole complete structure when it's done. Why are they dying so much? That's pretty bad. I will have to reclone a bunch of them. I grabbed another resurrected, this time it was the Rex. Then I killed the golem again and grabbed the wyvern, which was actually a bit stressful because, as you can imagine, it's kinda easy to miss the shot. And the wyvern gave me the access to the resurrected head part. Since I lost a whole bunch of my griffins previously, I had to clone them again, which was quick and easy. The resurrected body was the last part I needed, and actually the raptor is able to craft that for me. And here we go, let's grab the last part. And with the first set of resurrected parts I will not craft the golem yet, but instead I will use them to evolve the Bacon Overlord into Bacon Overlord's daddy. And this creature uses the Alpha Wyvern saddle for some reason. And yeah, it can definitely cause some havoc around, but it's not crazy powerful or anything like that. The Griffin is still superior. But a cool thing happened while testing out this guy. I unlocked the last ascender I needed in order to ascend my character to max level. Then I just needed quite a bunch of XP, so... yeah, that was it in terms of maxing out my HP again. For the next 4 days I farmed a couple more of bone golems with a little dose of building. Wow, that's a lot of gigas in one place. On the last resurrected golem fight, all of my clones died to a bleeding debuff, but now I had all the parts needed to summon my own living pile of bones. Well, except the ancient orbs, cause apparently they are pretty uncommon. Okay, now I really have all the materials I need to craft the summon. So let's just grab it real quick, and we'll test that guy out. Oh, hello. It's obviously stuck in the floor. Yeah, now it should be good. I present to you the resurrected golem. I used this phrase too many times in this video already. Is it good? Does it destroy everything on its path? Hell no, it's a total garbage not worth your time. The damage of this thing sucks. The movement speed and overall mobility sucks as well. The only cool things really are green fire breath attack and the look of this creature. So we are pretty much done with this mod at this point, and I wanted to show you the tech cave on this map. So I went there with my griffin and a silly thing happened. My recording got stuck on a pause menu and only the game sounds got recorded. So I cleared out the tech cave with my griffin and some weird things happened there. I will show you just in a minute. I started the overseer fight, but my griffin didn't teleport on the arena, so I fought the boss alone with just my tech rifle. Then I remembered that I had some weird like space whale summoning orbs, and I used them to summon those whales. They helped me quite a bunch and eventually I won the fight and ascended from the map. Then I went back there with my other bacon griffin to rescue the previous one and to show you the tech cave fun stuff, but this time with the actual screen, not the pause menu. Of course I got knocked off my griffin by a poor Lovia and a Rex ate me, but I went back there and proceeded further. And eventually I got to a room where like 1/3 of all the creatures from whole map spawned here, and my game could barely handle it. I tried to kill all of them and even more stuff happened. The game thread was so cluttered with calculations, the game was first hang for a moment and then ran at half an FPS. It took around 2 minutes to do all the operations that eventually the game was responsive again, and I was kinda surprised that it didn't run out of memory. A bizarre creature survived though. It looked like a Chinese dragon thingy named Shenron, the Great Dragon. Yeah, I could tame it instead of just killing it, but well. By the way, I also met some more fun creatures like the Indominus Dodorex. Eventually I got to the last chamber of this cave from where I retrieved my other bacon griffin. Now let's move on to even more fun stuff. I waited for this since I first saw this beast and I really wanted to check its powers. And I wasn't disappointed at all. Also, out of nowhere a bacon nemesis spawned, so I force tamed it as well. It was really only better than the Armageddon in terms of movement speed. Look at that. That's crazy. It has this cool attack like the King Titan, and also this Fireball of Doom, which is I think its strongest attack since it does large contact damage as well as high fatigue damage. I checked out the Dark Hierophant too, although it is just a reskinned Nova from Primal Fear, with like the same controls and attacks. And last but not least, I present to you my weird tech pyramid thingy construct that was used as my base throughout this 100 days. It has 2 entrances, one large and one behemoth gate, and I think almost everything is made out of tech here. Let's have a look inside and oh, don't mind those noises in the background. Inside I have my various tamed creatures as well as a Black Pearls farm. Yeah, she was a pretty useful creature that got me a lot of metal mined and smelted. I got all my resurrecteds here as well, and also the dedicated storage and a replicator and yeah, a bunch of other weird things. Actually, I didn't show you this creature, the Firecracker Velo. It's not amazing by any means, it's just a cool looking companion to have. Hang on, let me see what's going on in here. Okay, you know what? That's it for this video. Thanks for watching and see you next time. And I'm gonna take care of this mess.